Well, welcome to this edition of True Talk this evening, where we want to really talk about things that are truth, based on truth, and that are real, that really come from God. Will you give a wonderful, wonderful word of faith welcome to my guest this evening, the one and only, the inimitable Kim Fields.
Good evening, everyone.
Wow, wow, wow. Well, this is not our first meeting. I first met her about, I don't know, I guess it was maybe 25 years ago.
Why did you have to put a number on it?
No. I mean,
amen.
We were both children.
Amen. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. That's truth. That's truth talk.
I met her for the first time at the funeral of my cousin, Harold Moore. Tell us how you knew him.
Well, Harold was a wonderful, wonderfully talented person. We were doing a play together called One Monkey Don't Stop No Show. And we were on tour. And then when the tour ended, and he was living in New York, anytime that I would go to New York for work or appearances and things like that, he was always so gracious and making sure he hosted me or, making sure I was just okay, Wow. And, but on the road, y'all, when I tell you, we had so much fun. Wow. He was just... on stage and off stage, it's one of those things where, when you see people on stage and they're trying so hard not to laugh. Yes. So that was me almost every night working with him. And then off stage, he was just a fantastic human being. And I was so sad when he had to go on to the other side, so to speak. Wow. But he just left wonderful gifts here with us. Wow.
I could tell with your emotions at his funeral, yes, that you guys had a genuine friendship.
Yes.
And, I like to actually see emotion at a funeral. Mm-hmm. I've given instruction to my wife that when I make my transition, I don't want them to be strong. I want them to fall to pieces. I want them to hire...
You better fall out.
Yeah, yes. I told her that just at sporadic times during the service to just holler out of nowhere, just start screaming.
Yeah. That's hysterical.
But did you know in the scriptures, though, they actually had professional mourners that you actually paid and could actually bring for funeral services in the Old Testament times. It's in scripture.
Wow.
Yes.
Yes. I think I missed that.
I want some of those.
Wow.
I want it to be an absolutely lugubrious time of just uncontrollable emotion, just bursting out at different times.
I think my favorite part is you telling us now. Oh, so they don't have a choice in the matter. Oh my goodness.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well,
absolutely.
Y'all, if y'all need me to give you some acting lessons prior to that happening, just let me know. Just, go on and give old girl a call.
Wow. Now, I have noticed among other, you're a childhood star. Being a childhood star seems to have had strong emotional impact on a lot of people that...
Can I interrupt you? I'm sorry. This shot right here, can y'all go to this camera, please? Yeah, you're going to have to frame this out right here. If he can decide how he wants folks hollering when he ain't here, I could say you got to frame that shot a little bit better and protect me. Yeah, see, I'm looking right there. See, no, I'm not playing with you. You better move this. Thank you. Now let's try that shot again, brothers and sisters. Okay, that's that camera. Now what's the next camera? Where's this one right here? Where's this one right here? It's kind of that. Yes. Oh, thank you so much. And stop. No, see, too much. Tighten that back up. A little more. Okay, good. Lock that in. Thank you.
That's what I call real. That's what I call true. That's
truth right
that's
there.
the truth. That's the truth there.
Hashtag crop. I'm sorry. Now, what were you saying, sir? Ain't gonna have me out here looking crazy. No, sir. All of y'all be saved and sanctified talking about me. No.
Wow. I was talking about childhood stars. Yeah. When you are a childhood star, I've just noticed the lives of several people that were wonderful stars when they were children, that they have had issues when they were adults. Many of them suffered with depression, some of them with suicide. How did you deal with that in your transition from childhood to adulthood and being so well known? I mean, I just can't imagine what it would be like. I mean, I don't know how you did your schooling, whether you were part of a regular school, a private school, or homeschooled. I'm not sure how all of that works, and the dynamics when programming comes to an end and you sort of graduate out of being a child star, and then you have to find your identity in the adult world. Yes. Tell us how that worked for you.
Well, a few things. The first and foremost being my mother, Chip. Hi, Mom.
She's watching tonight.
She's watching. She live streams with you all every Sunday.
That's how she found out that her daughter was going to be on tonight.
Yes.
From the live stream.
When she lived here, she and my dad would come to church here. And then when they moved back to LA, they are, faithful streamers here. So, hi, Mom. But my mother never stopped parenting me.
Wow.
So it didn't matter that I was a child star. I was a child first.
Yes, wow.
And
very good.
She knew, and here's the thing that I still marvel at, quite honestly, to this day. She had me when she was 18, and she was a single mom.
Wow.
She and my father divorced when I was about 5 or so. And she was a kid herself.
Wow.
She didn't know nothing. and the fact that she relied upon my Aunt Pat, who's also watching, hi, Aunt Pat, and our village, was really strong. I talk about this a lot in my book, in stores November 14th. But my book is called Blessed Life, and I talk about this a lot because, number one, I just feel like, and now especially that I'm a parent, yes. Even though my children, at least so far, are not, child stars, they're still children. And you just have to keep the pedal to the metal when you're parenting. You have to set that foundation and then keep adjusting that foundation. And so she never stopped parenting me. She never stopped making sure that I was always respectful. Yes. I wasn't, to me, the code word for a disrespectful child star is precocious. They're so precocious. That's code for you are a brat. Oh, wow. And I didn't want to be that, Wow. And so then when the transition started, going into puberty is difficult. I don't care who you are. I don't care what gender, what race, what economic status, where you live. Sure. That's you physically.
Yes.
It's very, very, they call it growing pains for a reason. Sure. And so having that happen in a fishbowl, in front of millions of people, wow. is very surreal. Yes. And if you don't have that foundation set, yes. you could go crazy, yes. And it's not like there weren't times when I cried and I was very down on myself. Going through that phase and everything. But again, my village was solid yes. and always made sure I felt loved and protected. Excuse me. Also, I didn't believe the hype. Again, something else that my mom taught me, She would let me know, they love you because you're here.
Yeah, wow.
Understand that versus actual for real love.
Yeah.
And those are hard concepts to understand as a child, but she kept teaching me that so that as I got older and it really started to formulate a bit more, I got it.
Yes.
And so those were some of the keys for me that helped me. Last one is as I got in my teens, I didn't want to be a statistic of my industry. And I certainly didn't want to be a statistic in terms of child stars. And I didn't want to be a has-been at 18.
Yeah, right, right.
And so I went to college. To answer your question about schooling, sir, I was schooled with a tutor on the set. And then when I wasn't on the set, I actually, by the time I started high school, I went to my regular high school. And I got very involved. And again, my mother, parenting, she didn't send me to school with a bunch of bodyguards, and I didn't feel different.
Yes, good.
So I was just one of the kids. And I really felt that way, so I acted that way. I didn't come across as, oh, I'm better than you, you know, because I didn't think that. And it was important to my mother that I interacted with other young people who were, quote unquote, for real.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That is really great. I mean, Psalms 11:3 says that if the foundations are destroyed, what can the righteous do? No matter, even if a person is righteous, if they don't have good foundations, and it sounds like you had a very sensible mother who had, she obviously was a Christian.
Yes, but later in her life. She was brought up to be a good person.
Got you.
But we didn't come to know, I didn't grow up in church and things like that until I was about 14.
Okay, got you.
And, you know, but she was just genuinely a good person, absolutely.
Got you. You know, back in the day, you didn't even have to be saved to be a good person.
Right.
I mean, the society was just more moral. And because you had that village, they wouldn't let folks act out. I mean, you know.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's right. And the village for me wasn't just relegated to my neighborhood, you know, or the community. I tell a story in the book where my mom, she had asked me one day, and again, I'm a good kid, and she says to me, "Can we go clean your room?" And truly, y'all, I wasn't trying to talk back, because I'm not a talk back
She was being
person.
precocious.
No, this time I was being inquisitive. and I said to her, is that what the housekeeper is for? Now see, look at you. Ooh, you deserve to get popped in your mouth. But I honestly was just kind of, I was puzzled. I wasn't trying to be, you know, sassy and, as the old folks say, smelling myself. And I really wasn't. I know that's real old, right? But I mean, before I could catch it, boop, right in my mouth. And she called the producer of the show, who was also a parent, and she said, "Hi, this is Chip. I just wanted you to know that Kim will not be joining you on The Facts of Life anymore. She doesn't really know how to deal with all this." And I'm standing there. And that man on the other end of the phone, which I didn't know he was doing it as a parent, said, "Okay, Chip, we understand. Tell Kim thank you for her time and her service." I'm Tony, wait a minute. But, you know, it's one of those things where that was a part of the village, that he was doing village work.
Wow. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Wow. Wow. I love it. I love it. Wow. You know what? I miss the village. I miss the village.
You gotta bring the village back.
Yeah, we do have to bring the village back.
It's coming back around, you know,
Yes.
but sometimes, my mother just told me the other day regarding something else, sometimes something has to get almost completely broken.
Oh, wow.
For it to get fixed.
Oh,
and for people to
wow.
even see that something really needs to be fixed.
Yes,
And I think
yes.
we had to get to a point, family, where people understood the village is needed.
Yes, absolutely.
And sometimes you don't know you need something until it's not there anymore.
Yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And so I feel like we are kind of coming back to that.
You know, that's such a key point about the whole idea of being broken. To me, our brokenness, out of the brokenness of our lives, God brings the good stuff out of us into the lives of others. And here's the thing that I've noticed is that the broken become masters at mending. You recognize when you've been broken, when you've been hurt, if you've been abused, you can look in the eyes of somebody else who's been hurt or broken and abused, and you just know how to connect with them.
Right.
You can feel them. So the broken become masters at mending. So I know that sowed the seeds in you to be a marvelous mother to your own children.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I certainly had, some examples, not
Yes.
only with my mother, but other women, again, in my village. And honestly, like anybody else, you have certain people that are in the public eye that you
Yes.
go, oh, I think I'd like to borrow a page from that playbook,
Yes.
that sort of thing. But going back to what you were saying, Bishop, in terms of the being able to see one another,
Yes.
the first step to that is, in my opinion, first you have to see.
Yeah. Wow.
Before you can see to recognize somebody, you first have to just see. That means you have to take the time to look.
Yes.
And bet not be nothing in your eyes.
Right.
Because then you can't see.
Right.
And being able to have that sense of clarity and praying over your discernment.
Yes.
And being able to be clear with your antenna, as my
Yes.
husband calls it. Because a lot of times, and that's why the word says, try the spirit.
Yes.
By
Yes.
the what?
Yes, by the Spirit.
Spirit.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
That's all I got to say.
Oh, that is so good. That is so good. I find that people do sneaky, dirty things, freaky things, when they feel that nobody sees them.
Of course.
And one of the concepts that I learned in South Africa, this term sawubona, it means I see you. I see you. And that's the way that they greet people. I see you. Because they recognize.
Did you get that from Avatar? You don't bring South Africa into this one. You went and saw that on the DVD of Avatar.
I haven't
Because
even.
didn't the blue people tell each other, I see you?
Did they say, I've not seen the movie Avatar, so I don't know. But I've been to South Africa 6 times. I've been there 6 times.
All right, then.
I'm going to have to check out Avatar now.
See there? And you're going to fall out laughing when they do that. But I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yes, so I see you. Yes.
They realize, I think, that every person has a need to be recognized, to be seen. It validates you. One of the greatest gifts that we can give people is our attention. And particularly in listening, and you don't just listen with your ears, you listen with your eyes, you listen with your whole body that says, I'm paying attention to you. I hate to talk to somebody and they're on the electronics and I wonder, are they listening to me or are they paying attention to the digital world? And because you listen with your whole being, your whole being. And that's what we're doing now. This is called a dialogue. It comes from the word dialogos, which literally means flow of meaning.
That's right.
You get a flow of meaning when you dialogue. We can't assume that because we say something that the person understood what we said. Your husband doesn't understand what you say. He interprets what you say.
Tell the truth.
And sometimes he misinterprets. And it works both ways. So there has to be a dialogue to get a flow of meaning.
That's right.
Because when you ask that question about, isn't that why we have a housekeeper? And you will probably assume that being inquisitive or precocious. How you didn't mean it in a disrespectful way, but it was interpreted in a way of a child of privilege, somebody who's spoiled. And that's like, you know what? I'm going to teach her a lesson right now. I'm going to give her a wake-up call real early before she gets too deep in this. You know.
That's right. She didn't want it to take root.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that was
absolutely.
so brilliant. You know, that's that discerning, intuitive nature of a mother. I celebrate mothers like that. That, you know, that have this God intuition that really helps them to know that. Because you don't find that in a book, in Dr. Sparks' book.
No, not at all. Not at all. And the thing that I appreciated the older that I got, but before I became a mom, I appreciated that my mother was never my competitor.
Wow.
And ladies who have daughters, moms who have daughters, keep checking your spirit.
Yes.
Keep checking your spirit. Because sometimes it can creep up on you and you don't realize it.
Yes.
That you kind of shift the older they get, and it becomes a competitive thing.
Wow.
You're either competing for the attention in the house, you're competing for the attention outside of the house, you're competing for authority, even though you know I'm supposed to have the authority because I'm the grown-up.
Wow.
But they hit certain ages, and that's not that you don't have that with boys, but it's just a very different dynamic when you have girls.
Wow.
And she about to run up here. But that's real talk, you know, and that's very dangerous if you don't keep that in check and pray over it and find that grace.
Yes. Yes.
To tap into so that you can still love on that daughter.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Absolutely. That's great advice. That's really great. Wow. You know, seeing you in your acting roles, whether it's from Living Single and Facts of Life, Housewives of Atlanta, A Question of Faith, just some of the various things that you've done over the years, the passion that you bring out on screen, it has to come from someplace. But the thing that I do know about passionate people have high highs, but also low lows. And my question for you, how do you circumnavigate these highs and lows that life throws at you without warning? When you deal with that and you feel life so passionately, and your highs are so high and your lows are so desperately low. How have you dealt with that in your life?
Well, when you're in that kind of environment, it's very easy to become what some of the experts call bipolar. Because I'm not. don't come laying hands on me or nothing, because I'm not. And I never have been. I'm just acknowledging that that's real.
I love it. I love it.
But because it's extremes. It's really extremes. And for me, I had to learn early in my teen years to try to stay in the middle. Which is hard, because when you do have those really high highs and you want to celebrate, and if you know the Lord, then you are worshiping, and you know all of those things, and you go in, you know. But then it's like you have to just kind of manage that a bit so that you don't get yourself so high up that then it's just you have, you know, a chasm to go through before you get to the bottom, because it's just such a low, as you were saying. And those lows can be devastating.
Yes.
If you do not have your mind right.
Yes. Wow.
And when I tell y'all, for real, my faith has kept my sanity.
Wow. Yes. Yes. Wow.
And giving myself the permission as I got into my late 20s and went through what I call the dark ages.
Wow.
Because the lows were so low. But it wasn't that the lows were so low, it was that I felt like I didn't sign on for this.
Wow. Yeah.
I felt like all the work that I've done, and I don't mean on TV and plays and film, I mean just the work as a child of God. And a human being, and sowing into other people, and you know all of the things that I have done, and I started running down my resume to God.
Wow.
And I thought, oh no, this doesn't line up.
Yeah.
For me to not have what I felt like nothing.
Wow.
No job. I closed my business. Because it wasn't successful. The first marriage ended. I mean, just all kinds of things that were. I mean, my heart was breaking.
Yes. Wow.
And I just felt like, okay, I got nothing else for this.
Wow.
And I was real with God to say, I'm not leaving you. I'm not looking for anybody else or anything else. I just don't have anything to give us right now.
Yeah. Wow.
And again, God bless them, my village, they gave me the permission to be there.
Yeah.
And my wonderful sister, Andrea McClurkin, Andrea McClurkin Malini, she said, you could be here for a little bit, but you can't live here.
Wow.
Because this is stagnant water.
Wow.
And
Wow.
after a while, when stagnant water doesn't move, it gets
Wow.
disgusting.
Wow.
It gets infested.
Yes.
And infected, and I mean just all kinds of things. And but my mother didn't try to, bring me out of it, and they let me be.
Yeah.
And I haven't gotten to that place since, because now I can see it coming.
Got you. Wow.
And my wonderful husband, when the first year that we were together, and we were great, but just kind of all around, it's like, wow, once again, whose life is this? How did these results come from what I was doing?
Yes. Wow.
And he said, baby, you can't worry and remember at the same time.
Oh, wow. Wow. Girl, your village has ministered to you. Wow, goodness.
My village is something, ain't it? But
Wow.
I hold on to that all the time.
Yeah.
And I haven't mastered it, because there are times when I try to do both.
Say that again.
But
somebody else needs to let that soak in.
You can't worry and remember at the same time.
That's so
You can't
good.
worry about what he's gonna do or not done, and remember what he has done.
That's so
you gotta pick
good.
one, baby.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
run with that. And hopefully you pick remember what he's done.
Yeah.
And for me, I started running down his resume and not mine.
Oh, wow. Wow. Oh, wow. That's a word. Oh, wow.
I'll come back to your retreat and preach that one day. I have a minor in religion from Pepperdine University. So
wow.
Yes.
Wow. Oh, that is such a blessing. Wow. Yeah. That is good. That is really good.
Thank you. Well,
wow.
Thank God. And I felt like doing the whole process of the book was to have a level of transparency.
Yes.
I feel like people know me. I'm not a stranger to most people around the world, and that's a blessing, because they've known me since I was 7 at some point or another, whether you just got on the journey or you've been with me since, Mrs. Butterworth. But I feel like, because I'm still an insanely private person, and again, old school wisdom, you don't air your dirty laundry.
Right.
People don't have that concept nowadays.
Right. Yep.
And so I feel like now was the time, celebrating 40 years in the industry, and celebrating that God is still blessing me in my industry, let alone just as a human being.
Yes. Sure.
And so I felt like the time was now to, like when he says that to the children of Israel, go on and go through, but I need you to put these stones here.
Yes.
That way you'll remember. And you got to look back.
Right.
You got to look back to see. It's not the pain I want you to see. It's celebrate, oh, this is what you did for me.
Yes.
Right. Got you. And that's what this process was.
Wow.
And so I felt like there was a level of transparency as a servant that I wanted to have with this book. Yeah. And the interviews and things like that, because I felt like there's still a lot that people didn't know.
Yes.
And people, they give the impression to me as if they feel like I ain't been through nothing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, wow. Yep.
And that just ain't true. I've been through some things. Don't get it twisted. I've been through some things.
Oh, wow.
And I read, back in the late 90s, I read a book by Charles Swindoll called Improving Your Serve. It's a wonderful, it was so long ago, I don't even know if it's still in print. I know you can get it somewhere, but he was talking about improving your serve, meaning who you are as a servant and your servant heart. And something that he said, I mean, the whole book obviously stuck with me all this time, but the idea of the servant heart is one with transparency. It's a transparent heart.
Yes.
And being able to let people see you.
Yeah. Sawubona.
And being able to see someone who read an early draft of the book, she said, I love that you let us see your warts and all.
Oh, wow.
And your flaws, because in storytelling and what I do, most characters, they're your favorite characters when you see their flaws, when you see flawed human beings.
Yeah.
And so being able to show mine
Wow.
in a way that is not, I'm on the other side and I'm perfect,
Sure.
but just that sense of, okay, well, at least I ain't there right now.
Yeah, sure.
You know,
Wow.
I've at least gotten this far where I can
Wow.
maybe share something with you.
Wow.
And that transparency is really just, it's helped me so much. And I appreciate my friends and people in the public eye who have been transparent like that,
Good.
for me to be able to glean from them.
Excellent, excellent. Let me ask you this. Have you found it when you are acting, when you get into the character of another role, have you found it easier to be the character than to be yourself?
Not from a standpoint of, I'd rather work to be characters so I don't have to be me.
Yeah, got you, got you.
Did y'all understand what I said?
Yeah.
Okay. Like I have friends in the music industry who said, I prefer to be on tour because then I don't have to be home.
Oh, wow.
I mean, amen for touring, but what's that saying about home?
Right. Exactly.
So,
exactly.
But what started me on this journey when I was about 5 years old, my mother was on tour and then on Broadway in Hello, Dolly with Pearl Bailey.
Oh, wow.
And I used to love going to the theater and seeing the behind the scenes. I was an only child until I was 13, and I was very, very shy. To some degrees, I still am very shy, but I was not one of those children who always wanted to, get up and entertain and, not me at all.
Gotcha.
And I don't, come into a room like I'm here, and no,
Yep.
I'm very much the introvert. And so when I would go backstage and see these people putting on the costumes and the makeup and seeing those craftsmen, as I would grow up to learn, the crew, doing the sets and just everything that went into creating the world, that's the thing that made it so palatable to me.
Wow.
And however that computes to a 5-year-old, that's when I was like, I want to do that.
Wow.
I like becoming characters. And that's the part when you talk about the passion, I still have that passion.
Good.
And I still love creating characters.
Sure.
But I am grateful and love who I am and who I've become, my warts and all. I'm grateful for, the great times, the highs and the lows. But I love my work. I think that's probably a really easy way to say it. I truly love what I do, even after doing it for 40 years.
Wow.
And having discovered new areas of my industry and how to be a part of it.
Sure.
But not more than who I am.
Sure.
I'm Chris's wife. What?
Yeah.
I wouldn't trip. What? I'm Sebastian and Quincy's mom.
Yeah.
I'm Chip's daughter.
Yes.
I'm a sister. I'm Pat's niece.
Yes.
Who gonna trade that to play some little character? What?
Absolutely. I'm so glad this girl is grounded. I really am. Wow. I really am. And I'm so glad that you're so much fun here on stage. I thought she was going to be all stuffed shirt all.
I thought that about you now.
I thought she was going to be. I thought she was going to be stuck up.
Well, no, I didn't think that about you, but I thought I was, going to be with the bishop and having a conversation, and we would, do some exegesis on some scripture. Oh, yes, I know that word.
Oh.
I done told y'all I got a little degree up in here.
Oh, I absolutely love it. I love it. Wow. One of the things that I have learned over the years is that a stage is for performance, but a platform is for influence.
Oh, right. Is that on a T-shirt or something? Yeah. That's good. I'm going to need that on a coffee mug or something. That was good. Say that again, please.
See, you've got a, I think everything that you've done for the previous 40 years has built a platform.
Yes, sir.
You've got a platform. That's why your book, Blessed Life, this won't be, I got an early advanced copy. I want to see the warts.
Yes.
I want to get into the pages so that I can see the imperfections.
Yes. They're there. Amen. They're
But
there.
see, this is the voice that speaks from a platform, not something that acts from the stage. And so I think everything, and I've seen other professional athletes, football players. I've told them, I said, football, you get out there on the field, you do your thing. Basketball, baseball, that's the stage, but it's building your platform.
That's right.
Once the platform is built, then the message that comes out of our mess,
Yes.
the ministry that comes out of our misery, the crisis that emerges until we know that Christ is.
Yes.
You know, to me, we don't have anything to say to people until we've experienced pain.
Oh, goodness, no. Yeah.
Because we connect so much easier with people through our pain, sharing our pain. Thank you for the honesty and the transparency of your heart, of being able to share real life. This is what helps us. I mean, when you whitewash things, it really doesn't help people, because then it makes them feel more of an oddball, and it's like,
That's right.
then they can't relate to you. But when they see that this person has struggled, they've gone through things, not everything has been perfect in their life, and I never knew this about them, and how could they go through this and still smile through this while all of this was going on in their world? So it is interesting. I celebrate the platform that God has created in your life over the past 40 years.
Thank you.
All of the
Thank
journey
you
that
so
you've
much.
made.
Thank
So
you. Thank you.
wow.
If I may, you all have a platform.
Yes. Yes.
Doesn't matter what your industry is, what
Yes.
you do. You all have a platform, and God in heaven
Yes.
knows that now. I mean, think about, we live in a time such as this,
Yes.
that we are here in the glorious and sometimes horrific age of technology. But you can touch so many people in the blink of an eye
Yes.
with your platform.
Yeah.
And being able to recognize that you have power in your platform.
Yes.
You have power from your platform in a way that is special to you.
Yes.
That's why you are on the journey you are on and been through what you have been through. I'm amazed at how many people have what they thought was going to be like us, and because you know who you are as an entrepreneur, the side business, and that thing ends up taking off.
Right, sure.
Blogging and vlogging and
Yes.
things like that. But hear me, family, use your power for good and not
Yes.
evil.
Yes.
Don't
Yes.
go get no little facade
Yes.
identity just so you could, you know, show your real self.
Right.
And feel like, so this is my save page and this is my get them page. No.
Wow.
But being able to have that sense of power, you have that. You know, it's no longer relegated to just, well, I try to witness on my job. This is a game changer that we're
Yes.
in right now.
Yes.
And you can flip the script on so many people and so many parts of your own world.
Yes.
It's just mind-boggling to me,
Wow.
you know, and it can be very exciting when you recognize that power that you have with a couple of clicks. These right here, these thumbs have become your weapons now.
Wow. Wow.
Use your weapons for good and not
Yes.
evil.
Yes. Yes. Wow. I love that. I love that. Wow. Wow. Your newest movie that just opened last weekend, A Question of Faith.
Yes.
My goodness. Wow. What a spectacular, really poignant drama that speaks a powerful message of faith. Tell us, what was your favorite part of that movie?
My part. No. Isn't that horrible? I'm so kidding. I'm so kidding. It's honestly, and if you've seen the movie, first of all, thank you for seeing the movie, A Question of Faith. Wave at me if you've seen A Question of, hey, all right, yeah. Wave at me if you're going this weekend. Really? Come on now. Really? Y'all couldn't even fake the funk like, I am. I'm not, but I'm gonna just show her anyway. The whole movie is my favorite part, you know?
Right.
And
Yep.
now my favorite part is what's been happening in the wake of people seeing the movie and responding the way that they are on social media to it.
Yes.
And the comments that they leave and the conversations and dialogues that people are having about things like race relations and race reconciliation and forgiveness and anger with God in real talk. The ideas that this movie really wraps its arms around, you know, and doesn't play with it and isn't soft about it.
Right.
And those are the things that's really my favorite parts of the movie, that you see the core humanity of these people.
Yes.
So that the color of their skin, however they worship, if they don't worship at all, whatever their age, all of that is kind of tertiary. It really becomes, oh my gosh, look at the humanity of this person. That they allowed themselves to be so angry that they disconnected and disengaged, that they allowed themselves to struggle with forgiveness.
Yes.
Even though they're a person of faith.
Right.
Because that's real.
That's right. Right. Yes.
So all of those things are really just my favorite parts of the movie.
Yeah. You know, I love the fact that it was in a very clandestine and surreptitious way, it showed the interconnectedness between lives when people don't even realize how God is just orchestrating things behind the scenes, and that he's it's the essence of Romans 8:28, all things.
That's right.
All things are working together for the good that we may not even be able to see at the moment.
Yes.
I even liked how they brought attention to the whole idea of organ donation.
Yes.
As a life-saving mechanism that many people who are not engaged, because not much awareness has ever, the first movie that I've ever seen that they brought an awareness to that issue.
Yeah. There are what I call the big ticket items that are relevant to current events and issues that we're dealing with right now. Texting while driving.
Yes, absolutely.
Being an organ donor, and that conversation. Certainly, again, race relations. So there are some, big things, being on the brink of bankruptcy and looking and expecting a change to come. But you're looking over here, and when that change comes over here, you almost are like, no, I'm not doing that. And you're still focused on, it's going to be here, it's going to be here. And God in his precious grace still allows you to get what he had for you the way he had it for you.
Yes.
And that to me is just one of those things where what I call the nooks and crannies of where this movie touches you. So yes, we do have the bigger conversations, the things that are the current events, but there are things where we had a gentleman, a bishop, say to a pastor, I don't know if he's a bishop, forgive me, and he said, I got all the messages, but this movie made me realize I was taking my wife for granted.
Wow.
And this has really helped me to do better in my marriage.
Wow.
Well, amen, Lord.
Yeah, good. Wow, wonderful. I know that there have to be a myriad of wonderful positive testimonies that are coming out of the impact of the movie.
Yes.
Because it deals with so much real life. And to me, I think that Christians do need to know that it's not that once you get saved that then you just live happily ever after.
Oh, no, sir.
Or that God shields our life from pain.
Yeah, you're not in a bubble.
He comes into our pain with us.
Yes.
He hurts with us. He stays up in the night and cries with us. Oftentimes when we're just waiting on him to just deliver us out of the fiery furnace, I tell people that sometimes he will deliver you out of the fiery furnace. Other times he makes you fireproof.
That's right.
And you have to stay there and come out with a testimony. Yes.
He gives you what you need to get through it if he's not going to take you out of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love it.
There is a project that I wrote that I don't yet know, may be the follow-up to this book. and I wrote this, and it's called Keep Your Soul in Check. And it is based on how many times in the Psalms that David keeps his soul in check. He says, soul, what's wrong with you? Don't you know who God, don't you know? Remember, don't worry. Remember, he did this. Remember when he came out of the sky and did this, and this. And sometimes I just feel like we often forget to keep our soul in check. Because we're thinking, well, I'm doing all the right things, and you can be, but you know, we have so many facets of who we are, and especially up in here. And so if you don't keep up in here in lockstep with in here, your soul is doing one thing, your spirit is doing one thing, your man, your meaning your human is doing something else, and you could go full crazy. Really? Y'all ain't never felt like I'm going crazy. And being able to get that thing under submission. Because you know and understand. And if David, in the midst of all he was going through, when he kept saying, soul, what's wrong with you?
I love it.
I will not let you do this. I'm gonna only drown my pillow with my tears, but so much, and then, hey, let's get it together, soul. And so it's based on so much of that where you're just in it, and God and his beautiful wisdom. Everything is not going to be the same just because he did it that way. You know, it's like Ty's song. If he did it before, he'll do it again. Yes, but he don't say he's going to do it the same way. And that's you know, it's one of those where this whole thing of being woke is very relevant right now, and rightly so. But I think spiritually, we have to take that to another level so that we are spiritually woke. Which is different than your awakening.
Wow. This girl is preaching without a license here. Wow. Let me ask you, there are some advantages to being a celebrity. But there are also disadvantages. What are some of the disadvantages that you would say of being a celebrity?
That gets tricky to answer because you immediately start to get scrutinized or judged as being ungrateful.
Wow.
We let you play in the NFL.
Wow.
I'm sorry. So yes, there are some blessings to being in industries where you work incredibly hard to get where you are, along with the blessings, but you still got to do the work. That being said, I wouldn't even call them disadvantages. They're more so, to me, the realities of being in the public eye, the way that you are. And for me, it's even slightly different because, again, people have known me since I was 7. And so, most people. And so there's a this that happens where strangers I'm not a stranger to people. So people want to, and it's a blessing, but even after all this time, it's still very surreal that I'll be, you know, in Publix or Walmart, and somebody just, can I hug you? And before I can even answer, they up on me. And I get it, you know, and I'm grateful because at the end of the day, if you stop watching or stop buying or stop following on here, then so I get it. But there's some things where, you know, and then especially when you become a wife, and then that is imposed upon them. You know, Chris and I have been together 13 years. And he's had to really, he was good for this move right here. That forearm would come out, not to hit anybody, but just, hey, what you? And then, it took him some time. Because, I'm his woman. That's what you do for your woman. You can't just roll up on my lady like that. And I love him for that, But he's even gotten to, okay, all right, But then when you have children, and that sort of thing. So I think, if anything, one of the realities are just that you are, a part of a certain type of fabric of public engagement.
Yes.
That is very different. And I recognize, too, that how people engage with me, again, because of that level of familiarity,
yes. Yep.
Is different than if you see Jimmy Kimmel or, Denzel.
Yep.
You're still going to react, but it's not the same as this is as like I'm Kimmy to like everybody. Like, how'd that happen? Well, because I've been, I've been in your living room.
You were Tootie to me. Tootie.
Right, exactly. exactly. And so, when you have children and they're like, they don't want to, it's like one day I was going to get, Sebastian, that's our oldest, he's 10, and I think he was maybe 7 or 8 at the time. And I was going to get my hair done, and he says, wait a minute, are you going to get your hair done to be Kim Fields or just mommy? Now, regardless, the little punk knew I needed my hair done. But that's not the point.
That boy is woke. Sebastian is woke.
But, he very lovingly was letting me know, even at such a young age, there's a difference here. And right now, I just want that person.
Yeah, wow.
And you have to be in tune to that.
Yeah.
Moms, parents, we get very busy, whether you're famous or not.
Yes, right.
You get very, very busy, very engaging in all sorts of things.
Yes.
And you have to start setting not only the parameters for your kids, don't try to act like your kids are the only ones you have to tell no electronics at the table.
Right.
And you up there steady on Twitter and Instagram.
Yep. Yeah. Wow.
So I think those are the things that, make it more real,
Gotcha.
and just things that you have to navigate through that other people may not have to.
Yeah, gotcha. Love it. In our remaining time, I want you to give a word of advice to any aspiring actor who may be here or who may be watching.
I think, if anything, no matter what you're aspiring to be, an actor, a director, a writer, producer, an entrepreneur, a preacher, a pastor, whatever it may be, learn your craft, boo-boo. Learn what you're doing. If you need to go back to school, find a way. It's too easy. There are too many ways, family, for us to get that extra leg up in terms of education. There are too many ways to be able to get more knowledge and information. One of the things that has blessed me so much is, over the years, I keep learning. I keep talking to the crew members as I'm on a set. Don't bother nobody, but find a way to learn what other people know so that you are really learning the craft of what you're doing. Because nowadays, again, going back to technology, it's so easy to put stuff out there. And oh my goodness, especially if you're in my industry.
Yes.
We make a TV show right now in 20 minutes and it's uploaded and out there for the world to see forever.
Right.
So don't put no junk up there.
Yes.
Learn how to frame up a shot if you plan on being a little filmmaker.
She was framing it up when she first sat down. She was.
Okay. But again,
wow.
If you think you want to go, you're a great baker and you've been doing it as just as a hobby, but you think you might want to step out on faith or however it's come into fruition for you. Really learn that thing.
Yes.
Don't just settle for, well, this is how my grandmama made. This is what I'm going to do.
Yes.
That's fine, and that has a place in it, but learn the other tricks of the trade. Learn more about your actual craft. Treat it as a craft.
Yes.
Treat it as the art of whatever that thing is.
Oh, I love it. I love it. What a wonderful word of advice. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Our time just zips by when you're having fun. I'm just telling you, I can't believe it's been an hour already. You know, that's,
oh my gosh,
yeah.
wow.
Oh my goodness.
I gotta go home and do prayer and put the kids down with Chris.
You know, and she has flown all night from Los Angeles, took the red eye to be able to get here and be with us tonight. You know, I'm so grateful. I'm so incredibly grateful. The one and only Kim Fields. Wife, mother, daughter. Wow. Wow, what a blessing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bishop. This has blessed me so, and I'm so honored that you would ask me to be here to spend time with all of you and to dialogue with you.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Wow.
I see you. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to have to go see Avatar now. Since I assume that it's no longer in the theaters. I'm going to have to... I know about Hulu and Netflix. And
good, find it. Find it.
I'll
Amen.
find it.
Amen. Amen.
On my next trip to South Africa, I'm going to look at it on the plane. Wow, wow, wow. Anybody here, this is your first time sharing with us for a live service at Word of Faith? Just wave your hand. Wave your hand. Anybody here for the first time? First time. Oh, our hostesses have a special gift for you. They've got a gift from my wife and I to you. They are moving expeditiously to you right now. Anybody else? First timers, first timers, first timers? Right here? All right. Where our hostesses, they're coming to you. There's the gift. There's the gift. Take it home. Listen to it. Let it be a blessing in your life. I pray that you have received something that has been impacting to your life. I'm deeply thankful for Kim's realness, just sharing her own highlights of her own journey, her highs, her lows. I want to encourage you to get a copy of her book when it comes out in November.
You can pre-order it now at faithwords.com/blessedlife, but it does get into stores and digitally November 14th.
Excellent.
But the movie is out right now.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the movie is out right now.
He said, oh, that's right. Remember, that's why you brought me to come out here and talk to the people? Because you were so moved by the movie.
No. It was a great movie. I'm telling you. I was at the premiere, and I mean, pastors and pastors' wives sitting there weeping. And there was no cue card to the audience telling them to weep because there were no cameras there to capture that. This was the authentic, spontaneous reaction of people seeing the movie, A Question of Faith. It dealt with real life, real issues, the power of God, how God works in humanity, the results of choices, and showing the lives of people that have dealt with unforgiveness in their life, unresolved issue, racial prejudice, all of these kinds of things, and seeing God do something, financial straits. It deals with life. And I'm so glad that it's not just something that takes place in a church, because we don't live in a church. The kingdom of God is so much bigger than the church. It's where we do life. It's in the home. It's when you're trying to get a loan to buy a car, to buy a house. It's when you're trying to work out your marital issues. It's where the rubber meets the road. And when you go through difficult times, you never have the questions on sunny days. But you do have the question when you're getting married and there's a storm. And you wonder, God, is this a sign? And why did you let it rain on my special day? And then you have a question of your faith. Why did this person die that you were praying for? Why did this marriage fall to pieces? Why didn't you tell me this, God, ahead of time? A question of faith. Why do I keep making wrong decisions? Why do I keep acting out of my emotions and ignoring the things that I know that my head has tried to warn me about, and I obeyed emotions in my heart and I wound up in trouble. Why? Why, God? It's a question of faith. So it's something that speaks to our humanity, and it's a real tearjerker. I had to fight to keep my eyeballs from perspiring.
Oh, is that what you call it? Is that Swahili too?
I'm so glad that Jesus came that we might have life and have it more abundantly, and let us be able to laugh and have fun and be filled with joy. I mean, this is what it's all about. What a joy to be able to serve God in the good times, the bad times. One thing about it, God is faithful. And he's still God, and he's still worthy to be praised. He's still worthy to be adored. And when you're going through struggles, you ought to wake up in your mind and say, God, I thank you. You ought to have 3 things every day that you're saying, God, I thank you. I'm just telling you, when you live your life in thanksgiving, you set everything in the universe to start moving good experiences your way. It'll start delivering you out of negativity and allow you to be able to see some great opportunities in your life. I don't care what's going on, what kind of storm that you're dealing with. When you wake up with thanksgiving, thanksgiving will shift the atmosphere of your life, and it'll begin to transform your mindset. It'll begin to say, God, I know that even though I'm hurting here, even though I'm suffering here, but in the midst of all of this, God, you are good, because it could have been worse. I could have been broke and sick. It could have been worse. It could have been worse. Begin your day. I challenge you in the morning when your eyes pop open to say, Lord, I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. And listen, if you really believe that you reap what you sow, I dare you, I double dog dare you in the morning to bless somebody else. Bless somebody else. Speak a prayer that said, Lord, bless my sister who's going through a hard time. Bless my brother. Bless God, my boss on my job. Send out the blessing. And what you sow, I declare to you, you will reap it. It's coming back. You cast your bread on the water. It is coming back. It will come back and bless your life in an absolutely marvelous, marvelous way. I'm so glad. I've just been stirred by the goodness of God, by his grace, by his faithfulness. God is still God. He's still on the throne. Don't think that just because you're in the final quarter, God can turn it around on a dime. I'm just telling you, God specializes. I heard his word tonight again. He simply said, somebody who's in a bad place right now, I heard God says he's got something reserved in the script for you. It's called a plot twist. He's getting ready to twist the plot. It looked like you were getting ready to crash, that you were going to die, that you were going to fail, that you were not going to be healed and delivered out of this situation. But God's got a plan. Oh, he's got a plan. And it's above anything that you can ask or even think about. God's plan is greater. It's greater than our imagination, as great as that is. God's plan is greater. If you'll trust him, if you will trust him, if you'll trust him, God will give you a testimony to be able to tell somebody what marvelous things that he has done on your behalf. I pray that you got something out of our just sharing tonight. Thank you so much for.
Thank you.
Wow, what a blessing. What an incredible, incredible blessing to be with this incredible, formidable actress. This has just a marvelous gift from God, and she loves God. She loves God, and thank you for living your life in a way that can bless your own children, bless your family, and may the Lord bless your mother, your aunt, and all of those that have poured into making you who you are. It really, really is. I'm telling you, your great power is in everything, every dark place, every hurting place that you've ever been. And he has so much. He's speaking from the platform that he's been building for these last 40 years. Your influence is increasing. For this platform, he's formed you, he's prepared you, he's educated you to be able to articulate to a generation that is hurting and lost, that needs to be put back in remembrance, put back in check, given their wake-up call. They need to be woke. And he's put a sound in your voice. Thank you for using it. Lift up your voice like a trumpet and declare it. Go ahead and preach with a license, preach without one, but just do it. Just do the work of it.
Amen.
I love it. I absolutely love it, love it, love it.